You know exactly what you need to do. The assignment is sitting right there, but instead you tell yourself you'll start in 5 minutes later, you're checking your phone. Then you remember you need to organize your desk. Then you make coffee, and somehow an entire hour completely disappears. You weren't confused about the assignment, and you were perfectly capable of doing it. Yet you chose a series of trivial distractions over a single, simple task. And the whole time you feel awful. You sit there scrolling through a feed, fully aware that you should be working, while a quiet voice in your head keeps repeating that you are wasting time. This discomfort proves your intent is still there. If you were truly lazy, avoiding the task would be relaxing. Instead, the avoidance feels like a burden. Procrastination is a strategy for emotional regulation. It is a way to escape the boredom, uncertainty, or fear of failure that the work itself generates. The moment you think about opening that laptop, your brain doesn't see a mundane logistical step. It perceives an immediate emotional threat. It looks at the upcoming project and sees intense effort, extreme boredom, frustrating uncertainty, and the very real possibility of failure. Right next to that threat is your phone, a device engineered to provide an immediate, zero-friction escape hatch from those exact negative feelings. This diagram maps the procrastination loop. A task triggers emotional discomfort, which drives avoidance, providing temporary relief. Your brain actively learns this, so the next time you face a difficult task, the urge to escape is stronger, hardwiring this cycle into an automatic habit. Your brain isn't trying to sabotage your career. It's just operating as a highly efficient machine, prioritizing your immediate emotional comfort over your long-term goals. If our neurology is so strictly programmed to avoid discomfort, why do we actually finish anything at 3 in the morning the night before it's due? Look at this scale of the brain's logic. With a distant deadline, immediate discomfort is a heavyweight, and the consequence of failing is a tiny dot. But as time runs out, that future consequence zooms into the present, suddenly outweighing the work's discomfort. At this exact tipping point, the psychological pain of doing nothing exceeds the psychological pain of starting, forcing the brain into frantic, hyper-focused action. Relying on this panic is an unsustainable way to operate. Constantly weaponizing deadlines turns everyday responsibilities into high-stress emergencies, degrading the quality of your output and exhausting your mental resources. Most productivity advice focuses on building discipline or waiting for motivation, but you don't actually need to feel ready to begin. The brain gets paralyzed by massive instructions like finish the project. To bypass the resistance, you have to separate the act of starting from the act of finishing. You do this by making the initial action ridiculously small. Don't tell yourself you have to write a whole chapter. Tell yourself to open the document and type one single rough sentence. It becomes a pebble instead of a boulder. At the same time, you manipulate the friction in your environment. You make the work easier to start by keeping your materials ready on your desk, and you make the distraction harder to access by putting your phone in another room. These adjustments manually bypass your brain's threat detection system. By keeping the entry point insignificant, you prevent the emotional alarm from ever going off. Once you cross the starting line, the imagined dread usually vanishes. You are finally dealing with reality, which is almost always more manageable than the anticipation. Taking a tiny, forced action creates momentum, and that momentum generates the motivation to keep going. Action isn't the result of motivation, it's the cause. You can be anxious, bored, and entirely unmotivated, and still take a step. Your feelings don't have to be in alignment with your goals for you to begin moving toward them. Stop waiting for the right feeling. Identify the smallest useful action you can take right now and take it. You don't need to feel ready to start, because starting is the only thing that actually makes you ready.